You've talked a lot about how this team is more in Dalton. Just how pleasing was it to win with everybody contributing the way they did tonight?
Well, we've got a lot of these guys that have been with us for a long time, and they've been in games like this. And obviously, we've got the utmost respect for Nate and his staff and what he's done with this program and his time here. And we knew it was going to be a difficult game if we could stay in it for as long as we could, and knowing how explosive they can be. But Jemiah Meshack and Santi and Josiah, guys that have been around for a long time, they made a lot of plays, especially defensively. Josiah getting on the glass, and Z does what he does. But both teams had to deal with foul trouble early in the game. We wanted to try to go inside as much as we could, but they did a terrific job of warding that off. But our older guys were the ones that the guys who have been in these type situations were the ones that really stayed in there with us and helped us at the end.
Rick, going off of that, do you feel like this win kind of displays what the program has been built on, those scrappy, hard-nosed, tough plays and not really flinching in adversity?
Well, we struggled to score, and first half, that might be the most air balls I've seen us ever shoot in a half. But again, both teams were playing their hearts out. They were, and both teams were battling. There was a lot of individual battles going on, and as I said, Nate's schemes are terrific and really hard to guard. But our older guys have been through a lot, and they talk about it, being in these type games. And from my standpoint, being on the bench, at no point in time did you see them flinch. They just kept saying, hey, we just got to stay in it, keep grinding, and they did that. And again, I got to give all the credit to the players and really the older guys, because I thought they were terrific.
Rick, how pleased were you with the way the defense showed up in the final 14 minutes?
Well, so many times, and you guys have watched this a lot, they feed off Jemiah Meshack when he goes out there, and we didn't want Z to have to guard Mark Sears all night long, and Estrada's those guys are hard guards. They really to stay in front of them and work them. But again, we needed everybody, and we knew that again they're capable of hitting you with those bolts of lightning where they can hit you with 2, 3, 4 threes in a row, and we wanted to try to stay away from that as much as we could. And but defensively, we wanted to try to stay as aggressive as we could. And the biggest thing in the second half we just talked about, we've got to get a shot. First half I thought we were probably excited, amped up a little bit, because I don't see our guys miss, and they missed a couple shots really poorly, and we don't normally do that. But the fact we only had 2 turnovers in the second half was huge too.
Coach, how crucial was it to survive that first half with Jonas and Tobey both on the bench for 12-plus minutes? Well,
coming in, with this group, we knew that there was a real possibility that we would go with Joe at the 5 and Jemiah, because those guys, since they've been here, they've guarded every spot on the floor, and we thought about coming in that we might get to that at some point in time. Didn't know when, didn't know it would be that early. We had worked hard, again, trying to go inside, but Nate knew that too. He had his team extremely well prepared for that, and even when we got in there, they were knocking it loose and making some plays, blocking some shots, and they were quick to the ball down there. We need to be quicker to get rid of it, but the fact is, we thought about it at some point we might go with that lineup.
Rick, Auburn went on a big run the other night. Alabama goes on a big run tonight. What is it about this team that's been able to answer those runs in the second half in big games?
Well, we tell our guys all the time it's a game of runs. We felt like we had a run left in us, and we felt like that, and we talk about it all the time, that basketball is going to be a game of runs when you're playing quality teams like we've played. In this league, every night that there's teams that can go on and run. I think they finished the last 4 minutes on a 13-2 run, and during that stretch we shot 5 threes, and we shouldn't have. We were in a position to maybe get to the free throw line, but we settled some, and some of them I could say they were open, but the fact is, give them credit, because they've clawed their way back in it, and again, we just feel like it's a game of runs, and like I said, we felt like we had one left in us if we could stop them.
Do you feel like that was the most concerted effort to try to get the ball out of Dalton's hands for 40 minutes, and how do you feel like he responded to that?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Do you feel like that was the most kind of concerted effort for 40 straight minutes to get the ball out of Dalton's hands, and how do you feel like he responded?
Well, I think everybody's going to do that when you see what he did the other night. But again, I don't want our guys standing around watching Dalton play. When we call his number, we want him to do what he needs to do. You know, he was the one that said, hey, put me in a ball screen, let him double team me, and let me get the ball to Jonas, and Jonas will make the play. I mean, he said, I'm going to get it out of the double team. And the other night that worked for us. It worked again tonight because Jonas made some couple good reads out of there. And, the big three, I think Jemiah hit one and Josiah, and that was all, like a hockey assist from Dalton. And then we did try to post him down on the baseline, and he made one really big play in the middle of the lane. Then he settled on a shot out there he shouldn't have taken. But we don't, he obviously is a weapon, but he didn't have a particularly great night tonight, and we found a way to win. And we found this year we've won a lot of games where he didn't do what he did the other night. And he's like any player. If he gets going like that, we've had Z like that sometimes. We play through him or Santi or somebody, but we don't have to solely rely on him if we get everybody hitting on all cylinders and execute.
Rick, what's Jemiah been like to kind of coach and go through it this season? I know he's had some moments where he's had games where he's played maybe 1 minute and a half here or there, and then some moments where he's back out there more. How's he dealt with that?
Well, like you would expect, he's a team first player. He's a team first guy. He's like I think most players. One, I love him to death because, his toughness, his defense, what he's elite at. When he does what he's really good at, and tonight I thought offensively, I could almost say I thought he might have played his best game he's played since he's been at Tennessee because he did the things we wanted him to do. We told him, if you're open, we want you to shoot the ball. The three, he knows when he made some great plays, driving to the lane, creating traffic, getting them to suck in and kick it out. His defensive plays, he had a rebound, I think, and then he ran one down at half court, kept it alive. But he and Santi and Joe, their hands are elite, all three of those guys. And Zakai, actually, they have elite hands. But in some ways, I was watching him tonight, and I thought he was as locked in and played as close to what we need him to do as since he's been here. But he is defensively. It's hard to keep him off the floor, and when he's that smooth and knows what he needs to do on the offensive end, he's a real weapon for us.
Going off that with Jemiah, with about 6 minutes left, he made the three-pointer, then gets the steal, then gets it to Jonas Adu for the dunk. How much did that sequence encompass who Jemiah Mashack is as a player?
A lot. He's like I used the term a minute ago about a bolt of lightning. He can do that to you because of what he can do with his defense. He can come up with some plays and rebounds, and he runs down. He does. Honestly, we've heard it in sports before. He does all the dirty work. A lot of players, but it's a talent because not a lot of guys want to buy into that part of it. But he has an extreme talent there. But he plays hard. He has great cardio toughness, high level competitor, and he actually came up to me prior to the Texas A&M game. He said because when we went there and lost, he played at the time we were really substituting he and Josiah at the four, and we hadn't gone with a big lineup. He said, Coach, you got to give me a chance to guard guards. You got to give me a chance. And since that time, we have. And I told the coaches, what was I thinking getting away from him doing that because he's elite at it, and he embraces it. But just proud of as a group again being in the huddle with them tonight, hearing those guys coach each other and talk about what they need to do and where they were really locked in and focused on an excellent team and an extremely hard team to beat.
Rick, you guys are alone in first, week left. How important is just that achievement, just the SEC regular season, especially in this year in the SEC?
Well, I've said many times that I think this league is the best it's ever been since the 9 years that I've been in it, and I don't know if anybody's had a tougher closing schedule than we've had. Where it is what it is. It's the way it worked out, and but again, we got another week to go, and against 2 ranked teams, and I think every team we've closed with has been ranked. Every team we play from here on out is going to be an NCAA team and a team that can play deep into March. But we've just tried to keep our focus on what's at hand, not feel too good about anything. But, you know, again, I appreciate what they've done, but they know we're going to get right back at it. And we go to South Carolina where, again, if I had a vote for National Coach of the Year, I'd give it to Lamont. I mean, it's amazing what he's done with his program and one of the great turnarounds. But we're not done, and we'll see how it plays out.
I don't want to hold up Alabama's players. So last question. What did you think about what Jordan Gainey gave you in that first half offensively?
He was good. He kept us in it. Then I thought, you know, he got a little amped up, and because again, he doesn't miss shots as poorly as he missed them. But when he was in there, again, we've got a team, and we can play. You guys mentioned that we can play a lot of different ways, and we got. I mean, we know we could put a team out there with Dalton and Josiah on the perimeter with 2 bigs. There's a lot of different, and whatever it takes, that's what we'll do, and that's kind of been our thought process. You know, whatever we've got confidence in our team and in our bench, and we're going to use them.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.
We'll have Tennessee players available outside of our locker room.
How you doing, man?